Morning. I'm making a video to demonstrate how to use the debugger and watch window inside Visual Studio to grab elements off the page. The reason I'm doing this, a member of my team was looking at grabbing elements and he was looking at the XPath using the Chrome console. Not necessarily the wrong way to go about it, but I feel I've got a more efficient way of going about it. So that's what I'll go through. I've randomly selected the Disney Plus webpage. I've got no affiliation to Disney Plus. I think they do a great job. That's fine. On their page, there's a few buttons and some problems that we can solve while we're there. Not their problems, just from an automation tester's point of view. There's some things that we might come across that will be fairly problematic. So if we get this going, before we get going, I'll just talk you through what we've got here. We've got a feature file. If we look on the feature file, we can see we've got, given that I'm demonstrating how to use a debugger and watch windows to find elements on the Disney Plus landing page. If I go to the definition of that, we can see that I've got this step definitions file. It's a bit ugly, but it's only there for demonstration purposes. So we're going to, first of all, head over to the web page and we're going to instigate a new Disney landing page. So a new Disney landing page currently is just an empty constructor with a breakpoint attached to it, so that when we hit that, we can stop and we can look around. You can see that I inherit a class called Common Operations that contains my driver, so that's just saves me having to write, import it and things. So that's the only purpose that's serving at the moment. So if I just debug this, Chrome will open up. It'll be an incognito version of Chrome. It'll open up on my other screen, so I'll just drag her across in a second. You'll see when it gets there because, yeah, the breakpoint is alive. So if we pull this across over to here, and if we snap this here, so next thing, I'm going to open up the dev tools and pop them down to the bottom. There we go. Okay, so as you can see on this page, we've got a login button, we've got a sign up now button, the save on 12 months button, we've got this arrow. That's all we're going to focus on. There is a load of other stuff down here, and we may look at it at some point, but right now we're just going to focus on these 4 items. Okay, so the first one that we'll look at is this sign up now button. Okay, so we can see a few things. There's a few different things that we could attach onto. The first one we're going to go with is just going to be this one here. It's it's handy to have a class name. An ID is normally the best, but if we go with this class, so let's go in here. Driver, as I said, I've got that from the common operations, so I don't need to import it. Find element by dot class name, and the class is going to be medium. Okay. We hit enter there and we allow that to run. So we can see we've got an element there. Now, next thing to look at, what does the text of the element say? Okay, so it says sign up now. So we can be fairly confident that it's this button. Now let's just check that it's displayed and that it's enabled. Okay, so they're both true. We could use that to find this button. The problem that we have is if I actually change this to find elements with an S, and we run that, we can see there's actually 8 of that style of button on this page, or that element with the class medium on this page. So it's not going to be as efficient as we thought. So if we just see what the text of this one is, save on 12 months also has the class medium. Now we could use an index position on this, but what would happen if Disney decided that they wanted to add a 6-month membership here? It would mean that everything after that point would then not work as expected, and someone would then have to go and maintain that. And the whole point of setting these tests up is to try and make them as maintainable as possible, as in it looks after itself. So we don't really want to be using index positions. So with that in mind, this is not going to be our answer. Okay, so we're going to find another way of grabbing onto that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this here. So we're going to say, okay, so what about if I do driver dot find element by dot xpath. Okay, and the xpath that we're going to stick in there is going to be // span text equals sign up now. Okay, so let's look for that. What have I done here? Okay, I've made a error. What I needed to do was I needed to do this, and then this. Okay, so we've got an element. We can see it's actually a different element than the one we grabbed before. First thing let's do, let's go and have a look at, it shouldn't have any text because we've actually grabbed the text. Okay, so is this displayed? No, it's not displayed. It's enabled, but it's not displayed. So you may have some problems when you're trying to click on it because Selenium will just say element not displayed. Okay, so that now is not going to be our answer. But what about, okay, so we first of all, we grabbed this and we grabbed it by the class and it would allow us to find it. The reason we're not going to go with it is because we require an index position. The reason that it found it was because it's the first one of its kind. If there was another button that had class name medium here, it would find that one. It would just find the first one and go, yeah, I've done my job. What about if we say, okay, we want to find something that has this text? So we can use the parent. We can say, okay, what about this A here? So in order to do that, all we would need to do is just edit what we've got already. Say, so rather than / span, what we'd do is we'd say / A, where the child span. So we just do that. Text equals sign up now. Okay, so we've got that. If we run that, so we've got again, it's a different element from the original. If we expand this here, we can see it's got no text. Okay, so it's not necessarily a good or a bad thing at this point. It's not displayed. We can't use it because it's not displayed. Okay, so let's leave that one there now. So next thing we're going to do is we are going to go and say, well, what about this href here? Can we use that? So to save time, I'm just going to copy this and I'm just going to stick it in there. And rather than using this, so we are going to use the A. We're going to, and this will be at href equals, if we just stick these on so I don't forget. Okay, so the href is going to be this value here. So if I come across there, apologies if you can hear me dog barking at the moment. I don't know what's up with. I've just done a grave mistake. Just bear with me whilst I rewrite this out. By .xpath. The annoying thing is if you navigate away from where you were typing this in, as you've just seen, it gets rid of it for you. So / A, and we were going with, I haven't put an A, have I? Open this at href equals, and then we will single quotations, square brackets, and then we'll put the value that we've just copied, which is sign up question mark type equals standard. So if we hit enter there, we allow that to run. Okay, we've got a different element again. So let's see, can we use this? Again, because it's a different element to this one, I'm not hopeful at this point, but I'm going to check anyway. I'm going to expand this and I'm going to say, is this displayed? No, it's not. Yeah, it's enabled, but it's not displayed. So again, you could have those problems with clicking on it. Okay, so looking on here, I can see something that I know that I can use. And it's very, very handy when the developers put these in. And it's this here, the data test ID. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to stick it in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, we're going to use / A, but we're going to change this to data test ID. And we're going to change this value here to standalone CTA hero. Okay, so if I do that and we allow that to run, okay, we can see now that this and this are the same. So we know that that element there was displayed and it was enabled. Let's double check it. Is it displayed? True. Is it enabled? True. Does it have text of sign up now? It does. Okay. What about though if we were to look for more than one? What is the count? Is the count 1 or is it more than 1? The count is 1. So we know that using that data test ID standalone CTA hero, it will find us the exact element that we want. So that will be the best way of finding that element. If you disagree, that's fine. You're allowed to. There's more than one way of doing things. We live in a democracy. So with that in mind, let's go and see if we can grab this one. I would likely use the same procedure that we've just used. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, yeah, let's just delete that line. I didn't want to do it like that. So if you just copy that value, stick it in here. This time it's not standalone CTA hero. It is annual CTA hero. So that's what the uniqueness is. So annual CTA hero. Okay, and yeah, we've got an element. The element is displayed. The element is enabled. The element text matches what we would expect. One last check to make sure it is unique is we will stick an S there and run it again. And there's only one of them. So yeah, we found the unique element that we were after. So that's cool. Okay, now we can see that these buttons here look a bit different to this one. So let's see if this does have. Okay, it does. It has a data test ID. So let's tell you what. Let's just prove that this should be the same as well. So it's log in header. Okay. So if we log underscore in underscore header and hit return, we've got an element. That element is displayed, is enabled, and the text matches what we'd expect. Fantastic. Could we have a full home run and this one be the same? The answer is no, because we don't have a data test ID, which means we can't use the data test ID. Let's go with dot find element by dot tag name button. Okay, so we can see these here. Although they are buttons, their tag name is A. We can see that by the XPath. The start of it is A. Okay, so this here, we've gone for this handle, this button handle. If I was to run this, we can see we've got an element. Now, we don't know what element at this point. We don't know if that's unique. I'd hazard a guesser that it's not unique. So if we do find elements, we can see that there's actually 23 elements that have a button as their tag name on this page. So that's not going to be what we use at this point. Well, what about if we were to use class name? Oh, damn it. So class name hint. So hint. Hint. Okay, we got one. So I didn't realize I'm actually using find elements, but we've got one, which is pretty cool because there is only one. Now, if I get rid of that, it will just return us the singular element. Now we need to know that this element is displayed. It is. We need to know that it's enabled. It is. Text, yeah, I wouldn't expect it to have any text, and so this to me would say that that element will work. So what we could do is we could thrash out here an iWeb element, sign up now button, and then what we can do is, which one was it? It was this one, the standalone CTA hero. Okay, so if we just copy that, there we go. So we've got our first element on our page. The second one is the save on 12, oh, I've made a typo, on 12 months button, and it's the annual hero this time. Okay, and the third one is the login button. And again, on this one, we were able to use a data test ID again. So that saved us some time. We were able to predict what the button was going to look like. Okay, and then we had to sidestep. We had to use a different way of grabbing this one. I've put an E on the end. It's because the in-laws live in Arrow Avenue. It's spelled with an E. So if we take this one, so we've gone from having no elements on the page to having some problems trying to find this one to start off with, to now having 4. And then with that knowledge, we could go down here and we could look through the rest of these buttons and these links as well. But I think we've solved some problems there, and that hopefully be helpful for you. Thanks very much. Bye.